A Christmas I'll never forget. At Christmas dinner, my mom raised her glass and said, "Pay me back for all the money I wasted raising you." I calmly pulled out my phone, sent her $1 and replied, "Now give me back the 10 years I spent paying your bills." Everyone froze. My sister laughed and said, "Next time don't bring your side of the family. They're low class." I looked at her, took a sip of wine and said, "Here's to my sister who found a rich boyfriend and thinks she's royalty now." Then I stood up. "Oh, and I'm done paying for your lifestyle. No more credit cards. No more rent. No more secret transfers because you forgot your PIN. Merry Christmas." That night I froze every account, canceled every card and blocked them all. It was supposed to be a normal holiday. Some burnt food, family laughs, and maybe a stolen slice of ham by the dog. Instead, it was the day I snapped. Halfway through my wine, my mom stood and toasted. "To family. Even the ungrateful kids we raise. Pay me back for what I spent on you." The room went silent. Everyone looked away embarrassed. I didn't flinch. I opened my banking app, sent her $1 and said, "There. Now give me back the 10 years I covered your bills." My sister rolled her eyes and said, "Why bring your drama here? Your side of the family is beneath me." I stared right at her and raised my glass. Cheers to my sister who got a rich boyfriend and suddenly thinks she's better than the rest of us. I got up and said what needed to be said. No more handouts. No more payments. I'm done. For years I thought if I gave enough they'd stop asking. At 24 my mom called me crying. Debt collectors were harassing her. I was working 2 jobs, barely making rent, but I sent her $2,000. She didn't thank me. She said, "About time you stepped up as a man." That should have been my sign to stop. Instead I kept giving. Fridge broke. I paid. Plumbing issues? I paid. My brother Greg's tuition, car troubles, rent while he found himself? I paid. My sister wanted a car? I bought it. When I said she should get a job, my mom snapped. "She's not like you. She deserves better." Deserves better. That phrase haunted me. While they lived comfortably, I lived in a tiny apartment, ate canned food and taped my worn-out shoes together. Every month I sent them money, sometimes thousands. They said it was temporary. It lasted 10 years. I paid for my sister's business, that never existed. Her mental health trip to Miami? I paid. He tagged it #healing on Instagram. Meanwhile, I skipped meals to afford my mortgage. So I stayed quiet. I thought that's what love was. Then one summer I heard my mom telling her book club that I pay her back every month. Not that I help. Not that I support. But that I owe her, like a debt. She left out how she emptied my savings in 2019 to cover her gambling losses. Or how I sent her $7,000 when she co-signed a car loan for some guy who disappeared. They didn't see me as family. They saw me as a wallet. And Rachel? She didn't say a word when I walked into a room, but always remembered my number when rent was due or she needed money for networking. Once she texted, "Can you pay for my lashes appointment? I'm meeting Derek's parents. Gotta look good." I paid. Like always. Until one day I checked my credit report and saw a Macy's card, a travel rewards account and payday loans. All under my name. The email linked to them? Rachel's. She had stolen my identity. My heart dropped. I froze. I called her. She answered laughing. "Hey, can I call you later? I'm at brunch." I asked, "Did you open 3 credit cards in my name?" Silence. Then she said, "Oh my God, relax. I just needed some help for my Europe trip. You have good credit." I didn't think you'd notice. Didn't think I'd notice. That's when something in me broke. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about everything they had taken, and what I had allowed. My pride. My peace. My self-respect. Right then I made a decision. Christmas would be the last time they saw the version of me who always said yes, stayed quiet and paid for everything. I was done. By the time I walked into that Christmas dinner, I already knew how it would end. I wasn't there to celebrate. I was there to bury 10 years of being used. The dining room looked the same as always. Cheap white tablecloth, a fake Walmart centerpiece and my mom's loud voice bossing my sister around in the kitchen, pretending to be fancy. Greg sat at the table scrolling on his phone, looking like he'd just walked out of a beer commercial. And Rachel? Long fake lashes, knockoff Chanel earrings and the phone I had paid for, buzzing with messages from her rich boyfriend, who I'd heard was just a club promoter deep in debt. I sat down quietly. Let them pretend I was still their personal ATM. They poured wine, passed plates, and laughed like everything was perfect. Then my mom raised her glass. To family, she said, smiling. And to all the money we wasted raising them. They laughed. I didn't. I opened my banking app, transferred her exactly $1 and raised my glass. There. I just paid you back for your biggest regret. Now I'd like a refund for the 10 years I spent paying your bills and cleaning up your messes. Suddenly the room went quiet. Greg looked confused, like someone hit pause on his brain. Rachel scoffed. Here we go again. Playing the victim, huh? I turned to her. No, I said calmly. This is about you stealing my identity. You used my social security number to open credit cards. That's fraud. She froze, wine glass still in her hand. What are you talking about? Don't act dumb. I've filed a police report. I've got emails, screenshots. You used my name to buy skincare and pay for your little fake business retreats. That's a crime. My mom gasped. That's ridiculous. No, I said. What's ridiculous is that I've let this go on for so long. Then I pulled an envelope from my jacket. Here, Mom. This is the official letter saying I've removed my power of attorney over your accounts. I looked at Rachel. Your Venmo cards? Cancelled. Your rent transfers? Gone. That dental bill last month? Charged to me. I disputed it. Reversed. Rachel stood up. You're being dramatic. You can't just cut us off. I already did. Last night. All your accounts are frozen. Your cards don't work anymore. I turned to Greg. Hey Greg, how's that iPhone you just got? Still working. He blinked. Wait, it says payment declined? That's because it was on my account. Welcome to real life. You might have to pay for your own Netflix now. My mom stood up shouting. You think this is funny? Ruining Christmas like this? No, I said. You ruined it. I gave everything. You took everything. And the moment I said no, I became the problem. The disappointment. Rachel stepped forward. Well, I have a rich boyfriend now. I don't need your money. I smiled. Then said, you'll be fine. I pulled out my phone again. Let's toast to Rachel, who finally found someone else to use for money. She jumped up, trying to come at me, but Greg held her back. He stared at his phone, shocked. Dude, you canceled everything. Mom's access to my bank. The co-signed lease for my music studio. Every single card connected to you. You paid for all of it, and now it's gone. My mom's voice shook. You wouldn't do this. Not to family. I looked at her. You did. The moment you started treating me like a credit card with legs. Then I pulled a small box from my coat and placed it on the table. Inside was proof. A printed list of $67,000 I'd spent on them since I turned 25. Categorized with receipts. Here's your final bill, I said. Don't worry, I'm not sending it to collections. Then I walked out the door. That night, I sat in my apartment sipping wine as the messages came in. First angry. Then desperate. Then guilt-tripping. You betrayed us. You're being dramatic. You'll regret this. I blocked every number, every email, every sad excuse to crawl back. And for the first time in 10 years, I slept peacefully. You'd think I'd feel bad, like I went too far. But no. I woke up the next day in my own bed, in my own space. No missed calls. No one asking for a quick transfer for lashes, car payments, or roof repairs. It was quiet, but not a lonely quiet. It was peaceful. Healing. And for once, I didn't feel like I was carrying the weight of my entire family. Later I went for a walk. Just me in the cold air. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Like I didn't owe anyone anything. Then my phone buzzed. A voicemail from an unknown number. It was Rachel screaming. You're a monster. Do you know what you've done? Mom's crying. Greg had to borrow money from his girlfriend. And I had to cancel my lash fill. You selfish. I laughed. Really laughed. The kind I hadn't felt in years. Later that day, I got an email from a collections agency, addressed to Rachel but sent to my old account by mistake. Turns out, one of the credit cards she opened under my name had defaulted. Overdrafts. Fees. Interest. All piling up. They were looking for me. But I wasn't her anymore. I sent them my police report, the case number, and my lawyer's info. Then I blocked them too. Clean slate. The fallout hit fast. Greg had to move back in with Mom. His landlord ended the lease when he found out his guarantor, me, was no longer responsible. He tried getting a job. Lasted 3 days. Then posted on Instagram about toxic work and mental health. Mom sold her jewelry. Someone from her church messaged me. Your mom was selling her pearl bracelet outside the community center. Is she okay? I replied. She's learning what a budget feels like. Fuck it, Rachel. Her rich boyfriend dumped her. She tried to use his card for a hotel in Miami, but he got a fraud alert and ended it right there. A week later she messaged me from a fake account. Just tell me why. Why now? I didn't reply. Instead, I donated $100 to a women's shelter in her name. Let her actually help someone for once. But the best part wasn't watching them fall. It was watching myself rise. 2 weeks after the Christmas fallout, I applied for a job I had always wanted but was too busy supporting them to even try. A consulting role in Seattle. Triple the pay. Remote. Real opportunity. I got it. A month later I moved across the country. New city. New apartment. No trace of them. I bought a 1-bedroom with a view of the bay. Furnished it with things my mom used to call a waste of money. Art, books, a leather couch that was just mine. It smelled like freedom. I joined a gym. Took a photography class. Slept 8 hours a night for the first time in years. I met people who liked me for me, not for what I gave them. And one day I realized. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was just done. Because when you spend your whole life trying to prove your worth to people who refuse to see it, you disappear. I had disappeared into overdraft notices, quick transfers, emergency calls, and endless guilt. But now I had space. And peace. About a month after I moved, Greg sent me a message. Just 5 words. I get it now. No begging. No anger. Just that. I didn't reply. But I left it unread so he'd know I saw it. That same week I got a handwritten letter from my aunt. One of the only family members who never asked me for money. She wrote, I don't know exactly what happened, but I heard your side. You did the right thing. I'm proud of you. At the end she added, sometimes things need to fall apart so they can be rebuilt. I framed that letter and hung it above my desk, next to a photo I took from my new apartment. The sun rising over the bay. No yelling. No guilt. No debt. Just peace. 6 months. That's how long it's been since I slid my phone across the table at Christmas, sent my mom $1 and said, now give me back the 10 years I spent paying your bills. No shouting. No broken plates. No drama. Just silence as they realized their free ride was over. And for the first time in years my heart was calm. That $1 wasn't just a refund. It was freedom. It was my way of saying, this is over. Since then I haven't heard from them directly. Rachel posted a blurry bathroom selfie on Instagram with the caption, some people are only loyal until the money stops. Greg tweeted, even your own blood will switch up. And Mom? She changed her WhatsApp status to, ungrateful children are a curse. Good. Let them be angry. Let them sit with the silence I finally gave them. It is me. I've never felt better. The first week without them felt strange. My phone was quiet. My accounts untouched. No one asking for money. At first I kept checking thinking something had to be wrong. But nothing was. The only thing missing was the chaos. So I sat with the silence. And I started to heal. I finally accepted the job I had turned down so many times. Because Mom needs me close. Or Rachel isn't stable. Or Greg needs help. The offer was still there. And now the pay was even better. I said yes. I moved to a new city where no one knew me or my history. I bought a small apartment with tall windows and white walls. No borrowed furniture. No old dishes. Everything in it was mine. For the first time in years I woke up without fear. Number 6 a.m. phone calls from Mom about bills. No Venmo requests from Rachel after a salon selfie. No texts from Greg 3 days after I paid for something else. Just peace. And freedom. People who've never been used don't understand how amazing it feels to finally not be needed. I used to think being needed meant I was important. That being the strong one meant I was doing the right thing. But now I see the truth. What they needed wasn't love. It was access to my money, my time, and my guilt. They called it family. But it was just dependence dressed up as love. And I fed it for years. Until I finally said, enough. Do I miss them? No. I miss the version of them I made up in my head. The mom who was kind, not controlling. The sister who was grateful, not selfish. The brother who worked hard, not lazy and entitled. But that family never existed. The real one? The moment I said no, they called me selfish. I don't miss them. I barely even think about them now. And when I do, it's like remembering a sickness I finally recovered from. Because that's what it was, a kind of sickness. A toxic pattern I thought was love. Now I protect myself the way no one ever protected me. Sometimes I still look at that $1 transaction. I framed it, next to the sunrise photo from my window. It reminds me, you don't have to keep burning just because your family enjoys the heat. You don't have to destroy yourself, financially, emotionally, mentally, just because they share your last name. I gave them 10 years. They gave me blame, guilt, and silence. I gave them everything. Now I give them nothing. Not even the chance to do it again. Because sometimes closure isn't a hug. Sometimes closure is $1 and a locked door.